Hello Mavericks, this is Rob again. Welcome to Behavior Change. Hopefully you've got your feet up. We're going to be talking about behavior change. Now if you haven't seen my video on habits, please go watch it, because none of this is going to make much sense unless you've watched the video about habits. Basically, a habit is a program that runs in your brain. So in this session we're going to talk about how to change that program. How do we change that program? And there's 4 steps. There's 4 steps to changing that program. There's contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. All right. Now, hopefully, you have already done number 1. Number 1 is the first step, acceptance. Understanding why. I remember as a young trader, I would overtrade, and I knew it was bad. So when I started trading, I was one of the first traders at Maverick down in 1997. And back then you didn't have internet at your house. You had to go to an office that had a T1 internet line. So it was about a 25-30 minute drive for me to get down there. I'd get down there right around 6:30, 6:45. This is mountain time, so about 45 minutes before the market opened. And during the time I was day trading. I was day trading equities. And I was really good at trading the open, and I would be up, $500, $1,000, maybe $2,000 by an hour into the trading day. And I would sit there all day long, click buttons, and by the end of the day, have a zero or a loss. And I did that enough times. I said, "Okay, dummy, just go home. Just go home. Just get in your car, go home." There's no internet at home. You have to be at the office. But then if I went home, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? And so I found ways not to go home, and I kept doing it. And I told myself, Rob, why can't you change this? And I couldn't change it. I literally knew. I knew exactly what the problem was, but I had no idea. I understand it now. I am a high energy individual. I need constant stimulus. I'm one of those people that I need to be doing something all the time. That's just how I'm built. I've always been like that. So the thought of just going home and having nothing to do was so unappealing that I found ways to stay. When I finally realized that, you literally can't stop clicking the buttons. You're a junkie. You're an addict. You literally cannot stop. When I finally got to that point where I realized, I can't change this through discipline. I need some help. So there's a couple things I did. First thing I did is I hired a personal trainer. Now, I've always loved going to the gym. I've always loved staying in shape. I don't need a trainer. But I hired a trainer because I tried to just go to the gym. Because I always got in trouble right around 9:30 a.m. my time, which is 11:30 Eastern time. That's right around when I got in trouble. So I might just go to the gym. The problem is I found ways to not go to the gym. So I hired a personal trainer, which again I don't need, I didn't even want, but I knew that if I hired a personal trainer, I wouldn't no-show on them. It got me out of my seat. It got me to the gym. I also would give my security card to my wife and say, "Don't give this back to me until tomorrow." I know that's pretty pathetic. Don't give this back to me until next week. If I'd had a good week, I would just give her the card and say, "Don't give this back to me," because I needed the security card to log into my trading account so I could actually make some trades. And the first time, she gave it back to me really easy. And I got myself in trouble, and I said, "Look, don't give it to me." And after that time, she was really good. Now, it's pathetic to admit that. To admit that to people, that's a pathetic thing to do. But that's what it takes. I could not do it myself. So let's go through these not real quick, but let's go through these. Obviously, this is just going to be a short video on behavior change. Behavior change is very complex. It's very difficult. Let's talk about this. So there's things you can change and there's things you can't. You cannot change your DNA. I cannot take someone who is an introvert and make them an extrovert. I cannot take someone who feels deeply and train them to not feel deeply. That's impossible. So there are some things in your life that you will not be able to change. Stop trying to change them. I'm now in my late 40s. One of my favorite things about being older, and I actually really do love being older. I never thought I'd say that as I looked at old people in my 20s. The greatest thing about when you get older is you stop lying to yourself. You stop lying to yourself. And you start realizing, oh, I hate that. I'm never doing that again. Oh, I don't like that at all. I'm never... And again, and those things you were always bad at because you hated them, because you were bad at them. So once you just got to the point where, like, look, I'm only hanging out with the people I like to hang out with. I'm only doing what I like to do and what I'm good at. It's awesome. Now, your upbringing gave you some programs. Those programs can be changed. Your biases are basically a byproduct of your personality upbringing. Now, these biases, this is the sticky one. And this is the sticky one because a lot of these biases cannot or will not be changed. So I'm going to give just a quick one. Let's say you are a member of a political party and you feel very deeply about your political party. That's going to be a problem in trading. And I remember during 2013 to 2016, all of my Republican traders were overly bearish. They didn't like the president. They didn't like where the economy was going, even though the economy was phenomenal. It was fantastic. They found ways to be negative. They didn't like the administration. They didn't like where the tax plan was going. They didn't like this. They didn't like this. The whole time, the market's in a bull market. And I had to get on every single week on the trading room and say, guys, it's a bull market. I don't care if you don't like the president. You got to get long stocks. I don't care if you don't think America is going in the right direction. You have to go long. And I swear that it was on 2016, December 2016, I literally started to have the same conversation with the Democrats. The Republicans finally got bullish the market, and the Democrats became bearish. And it was the same thing. The bull market was still intact. The bull market was still going up. So these biases are going to cause you to be forced into certain positions. And in trading, that's really dangerous. I've told several traders over the years that you need to understand that your beliefs are not right. They're simply your beliefs. If you believe that the stock market's going down, that's great. That's wonderful. But guess what? That doesn't mean it's right. Once you can look at your belief system and just say, it's my belief system, it's not what is right or wrong, it's literally my belief system, now you have some room to move. But if you can't get to that point where your biases are, Republicans screw everything up. If that's your attitude and that's your belief system and you can't get outside of that, how could you possibly be long when Democrats are in charge? When Republicans are in charge? You can't. You can't. You've handcuffed yourself. You've predetermined your decisions. So when you look at your decisions, your personality, your upbringing, your groups, your biases, it's all part of how you see the world. And until you unpack it, behavior change is impossible. You've got to accept it. Once you accept that and you can see, okay, this is my problem. My problem is I need stimulus all the time. I need to be busy all the time. I need to have things on my mind all the time. Boredom is really bad for me in my life. My poor wife, she likes downtime. I really feel sorry for her. And for me, it is just go, go, go. I love to go, 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 go all day long and literally pass out from exhaustion. That to me is a perfect day. And some of you are just groaning like, oh, that sounds exhausting. That poor woman. Yes, you should feel sorry for her. Understand that. So once I finally understood, no, boredom is bad for you. All of a sudden now it's like, okay, how can I change that? I can't do it through discipline. How do I change that? I fill my life with other stimuli other than trading. That's what it takes. So understand your triggers and avoid them. So if I'm active, like if I'm like, okay, I got really into, riding my bike, during the time I got in trouble, 9:30 to 12, let's say. And by the way, I hate riding a bike, so this is just an analogy. So let's say that I got really into riding a bike. I wouldn't be bored for those 2.5 hours when the market's open. I wouldn't be thinking about trading because I'm doing something I love. I'm doing something I enjoy. All of a sudden, do you see how I don't even have to fight the battle? So understand the triggers. Understand what causes you to make a mistake. I just talked to a trader the other day that says that he does all of his work before the market, and when the market opens, he turns his system off. Yeah. Why? Because, hey, he didn't want the stimulus. Because he's made mistakes in the past from the stimulus. He just turns it off. He doesn't want that. Once you can understand that, now you don't have to fight battles. Now you don't have to try to overcome your personality. And then positive rewards. This is where you plan out, hey, if I don't blow it for the next month, I'm going to reward myself with dinner at my favorite restaurant. Whatever it is you want to reward yourself. So again, you make a plan. You plan out, okay, how am I going to avoid the stimuli? And if I can't avoid the stimuli, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when this happens? So maybe one of your problems is you like to sell too early. You close your directional trades out too early. You know that. And you know it's because you see it and you can't stand it anymore. Okay. You know you can't change that. You know that when your trade is up nicely, you're going to feel like you want to take it off. Okay? You know that. That's your trigger. So you could say, I have to find some way so I don't see the stimulus, which is sometimes impossible. So then you say, okay, if I see the stimulus, I'm no longer going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so you predetermine it. You make it clear and concise. I always tell people start out with, how about you sell half and keep half? That relieves the pressure off you. And here's what happens. You do that enough time and you hold the other half and you see how much money it made you. All of a sudden it becomes easier to not sell half because you see it. You see, oh, yeah, I'm losing a lot of money here getting out too early. And again, you get in that positive feedback loop. The positive feedback loop is very, very important. Include your friends, your family, get onto internet chat boards, whatever it is, and share it. One of my, again, the best thing for me is that I share my life, I share my trades with people. I share because it forces me to do what I'm saying. Like, hey, I'm going to get out if it goes here. I have to because I've got people that are watching me. I've got people that are helping me. So again, the positive feedback, very, very important because what happens is in behavior change, once you do it enough times and you get the positive feedback, it becomes so much easier to do it the next time. And then when you get positive feedback from that, at a certain point, that is your new habit. And you no longer have to fight the battles. Maintenance. I'm going to go back to Alcoholics Anonymous. They say once an addict, always an addict. Guess what? Once an overtrader, always an overtrader. Once a overposition sizer, always an overposition sizer. Understand that those problems are still there, and you need to be vigilant. You need to be watching for them. One of the things I do all the time is I put myself in trading halts. I've been trading for 25 years. I put myself in trading halts. Oh, yep, that's a trading halt right there. Time out. You go to bad boy or good boy. My trading halts are if I have a really big run, if I have a period of trading that I do really well, I put myself in a trading halt for a week. Oh, good job. Just go enjoy it. Why? Because after I had big gains, I would get overly excited, overly exuberant, and I would screw it up, over position size, and lose my gains. So Once I saw, oh, this is a trigger. This is a trigger. What can I do? Oh, trading halt. Now, again, I used to have to give my security card to my wife. Don't give me this until next week. Don't give me this until whenever. Because I couldn't get it done. So think about it. If you know you're going to do it, if you know you're going to screw it up, how can you make it to where you don't? And then again, the positive feedback is so essential. So essential. Reward yourself. Hey, if you can go, this for the next month without making the mistake you did, why don't you go on a trip? Why don't you take some money out of your account and go to this? That money that you take out of your account and do something, I promise you, will be better. It will make you more money than it cost you because of that positive feedback loop. I remember in the early days of Maverick, this was like back in 1999, maybe 2000, I told all the guys in the office, I said, hey, whatever money we make this week, we have to go blow it at Circuit City on Friday. And we all had pretty good trading weeks. So we went to Circuit City and we all blew like at least $1,000. Some guys blew $4,000. That was such a positive reinforcement of doing it the right way. So reward yourself. Behavior change is really, really hard, especially when you don't understand why you're making the same decision. Accept that it's not a decision. Now look, this is not getting you out of personal responsibility for being a crappy human being sometimes in your life. But if you understand that you have a program running inside you, now you can actually work on it. So identify the issue, identify the triggers, plan out your new actions. How are you going to avoid those triggers? AA tells you if you have a favorite bar that you go to and it's on your way home from work, go a different way home from work. If you never see that bar, you don't have to make a decision to not go in the bar. Same thing with trading. If you don't see it, you don't have to fight the battle. If you can't avoid that trigger, plan out what are you going to do so you can act differently next time, and then create a positive feedback loop. This is such a small part of behavior change. It is so deep. I highly recommend go look at some books, go read about some things. If you're struggling with anything, the information is out there, but it's really to these 4 steps right here. Thanks for joining, everyone. Goodbye.